Yeah, yeah. Now lately things been
Right now, Mike Gaskins is here. He is on the El Toro Water District Board. And Mike, welcome. Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
And you know, we're talking about that subject again, where the water comes from, keeping it clean, keeping it flowing. And you've brought along some, or you sent along to us some graphics on this. And the first one here is really cool. I love the way this is done, by the way, because it's done just with copper piping and the kind of plumbing you find in your home. But what this shows is the system, particularly Colorado River, and how it gets down to us, right?
This is Colorado River. The collection points with the funnels, you know, where it falls as rain and snow. Recent data point that the Colorado River Plateau has 625% of the average water this year.
Yeah.
It's very wet up there, which is good. Water flows into the rivers, goes down to various reservoirs. The first float there is probably Lake Powell, and the second one will be Lake Mead.
Yeah.
And then it comes into Southern California, and then we could, so this is just kind of a display. Northern California also provides water to us here.
Right,
So
and you were saying earlier this display is in San Diego somewhere?
this is at the San Diego Museum of Natural History. And,
Oh, great, okay.
And you were saying there was one at Diamond Valley.
Yeah,
and so,
yeah, very similar to this. Yeah, I like the way this is done though. So let's go on to the next one is a map, and tell us about this.
This is Orange County specifically. The El Toro Water District doesn't have any gravels, any wells or anything. Our geology is just not lending itself to it. There are other places in Orange County that have tremendous groundwater storage.
Right.
We don't have any. We get it all comes in, and all the water flows into what's called the Dimer plant up there at the very top of the screen, and that's on the hilltop in Yorba Linda. If you drive along Imperial Highway, you can see it sitting up on the hill. And there they filter and disinfect the water, treat it, and they put it in the pipeline, and it comes down through the AMP there, the Allen McCullough pipeline, and into our area. There's a recent treatment plant that's been built as a joint effort between Irvine Ranch, us, and Santa Margarita, called the Baker plant. And that's coming online, and that's treating water actually from Irvine Lake, which will become a storage. But anyhow, the water comes in and enters into our system down in here, and it has been cleaned, disinfected up in Dimer, and then it enters the pipes. Chlorine is added to continue the disinfectant. Disinfection process. So we'll go on to the next slide. This is a sample site. There are 19 of these in the district, and they're sampled every single week. And these are dedicated to keep people really from messing with them, et cetera. And so if we opened one of these up, the next slide will show some plumbing. And the big pipe for flushing it out to make sure we're getting water from the system, and then a sample point. The samples are pulled, taken back to the lab where they're tested. And there are a number of parameters that are tested before. Up at Dimer, everybody in the district recently got a water quality report in the mail, all the customers, everybody. And most of that data comes from Dimer and the Metropolitan Water District doing very sophisticated testing. We don't have the equipment, gas chromatography, things like that. But we do have a good quality lab with very trained people. And so this is an example of all of the things.
I know this is a little hard to see on the screen, but this really shows it flowing to different plants and
different points. And again, Dimer plant kind of lower center, but Metropolitan is testing for all of this. So when it comes into our system, it has been cleaned, it's been examined, and our job is to assure that it remains safe to drink. And that's what we do. So we'll go on to the next one.
And then on the next one, it shows the type of monitoring that's done. And
this is, a map of our district. Kind of looks like a brontosaurus, going all the way up Aliso Creek. And we have 19 dedicated water sampling points, and we also test 4 reservoirs. And these spots are tested every single week to assure that things are safe. This is microbiological testing. We test for the presence of coliform bacteria. And coliform are easy to test for. Things like dysentery and other really serious waterborne diseases are hard to test for. But the idea is that if there's any coliform present, there might be these other ones.
Okay.
And so this is tested, and all of our tests have always been negative. We've never
Okay.
had a positive fecal coliform test after the follow-up
Okay.
test in the history of the district. So we know the water's safe to drink.
All right. And the next one is the chlorine residue.
Chlorine turns out to be, I mean, it has a bad rap sometimes, but I believe it to be the most important chemical we use because it disinfects the water. It prevents the spread of disease, which is someplace, a third world country, Africa, you might have medicines, but you don't have clean water. And so disease is still rampant.
Right.
And chlorine is what protects the water from these bacteria growing. They order on concentration. We keep it somewhere around 1 to 1.5 parts per million. We don't want it to fall down below 0.7. Some people that are sensitive can smell it in the water. Most can't. And so, but that's the chlorine. Nitrite testing is, nitrite is a byproduct of some of the chemistry that goes on, and if nitrites go up, it might consume the chlorine in the system. And so this would be an early warning that we might have a problem with chlorine. And we have places where we can add more chlorine in, particularly at our reservoirs.
Okay. And then the final one, or not the final one, the final map is fluoride.
Fluoride's another one we test for. The water's put in by Metropolitan Water District. It's well accepted in the medical community that fluoride prevents cavities. And that's why it's in the water.
Okay.
And it's put in there. We don't add it.
Okay.
It's there, but we want to make sure that you still have some. High fluoride causes teeth mottling discoloration, which is permanent, and there are some groundwater places in the United States where there's high fluoride and everybody has mottled teeth.
Okay.
But for us, this is protecting both kids and adults, preventing cavities.
Okay. But that's something that's also been talked about a lot too. The fluoride.
It's a controversial.
Yeah,
Some
it
people
is,
don't
yeah.
want, it's the same idea of vaccinations. We won't go there.
Okay.
This is a chlorination station. The tank has sodium hypochlorite in it, and we can add, we have to again train staff. Our employees are very high quality, do a really great job. And so these people, every single week, every single day, are working hard to make sure the water that comes into your living room, your sink, your bathroom, is good quality water. It may have a bit of the Grand Canyon in it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, one of the things I was going to say, being from Northern California, from the Bay Area, you know,
Water comes from Hetch Hetchy.
Right, and it tastes wonderful. It's why I think so many people get bottled water, because it may be perfectly safe, it just doesn't taste good.
If that'd be the only reason to drink bottled water, the regulations on bottled water are actually less than what comes out of your tap. There's less assurance at bottled water. I can go off on those water sampling sites where you get water in front of the grocery store on those machines. There's no regulation on those. No one tests them, no one does anything. They can easily have contamination.
Right. All right, I appreciate you coming on, and thank you very much. And a lot of this information on the website people can get as well, right?
Correct. Our website on Feral Toro Water District is there, ETWD.com.
Yeah.
And eventually we'll come along, because the water that comes in has to go out somewhere. And we'll come along and talk about the sewers and the collection system and how we keep that clean.
All right. Good to see you, Mike.
Thank you
Take care.
very much.
We'll be right back.